And welcome, race fans, to another beautiful Thursday night that can only mean one thing. We are here to watch these boys duke it out for the Fired Up Esports League, also dubbed Fuel, for tonight's racing event. You are live on the pre-race show presented by Martin Sports as we go over a little bit about what to expect tonight. It should be a fun race nonetheless. As fun as Texas can be. Sometimes this track can pose good racing. Sometimes it could pose not so good with all the reconfigurations it's gone over throughout the years. Some will argue it's made better racing. Some not so much. But either way, these boys are going to give it their all, and they're going to put on a hell of a show one way or the other. As we had already stated, we are obviously at Texas Motor Speedway for the running of the Tatas for Texas 140. Again, everybody at Fuel does a lot of awareness, a lot of support for various things. This week, obviously, Tatas for Texas, breast cancer awareness, and what better way and what better fitting manner than in Texas, where everything is bigger as it is anyway. So kind of a fitting little addition to it. As always, I am Dustin Logston, also known as Ballistic, and alongside me, and has been since the drop of the green flag at Daytona, all of 7 races ago, now 8 after the completion of this one. Here is the legend, the myth, the man, Mr. J. Stan, Jeremy Stanley. How you doing?
Doing pretty all right myself tonight. Texas reconfiguration. I don't want to be that guy, but when Phoenix and other tracks post on Twitter of how bad your reconfiguration went, it speaks volumes. So, but these guys know how to put on a show regardless of what track you throw at them. So I don't expect anything less per se as far as the action that's going to be seen later on tonight. These trucks are bad fast, and basically this track became almost a super speedway for the trucks. They already were, but since the reconfiguration, you're basically flat out, 5-10 laps, maybe 15 straight, even with some draft. So we're going to see a little bit of some draft moves early on in the event. And it's also 140 laps. The first time you've seen this, it's always been 125. So 15 extra laps for everybody this evening. Everything is bigger in Texas, and to support your Tatas for this month, it couldn't be any more fitting, as you said.
Yeah, exactly. As you see, the drivers are now starting to roll out on the track. They are undergoing their qualifying session right now while we go over a few items. Tonight's event, as you had stated, Jeremy, 140 laps, so a little bit longer in length than what we have been accustomed to here at Fuel. But again, it's the drivers. I mean, they're going to race regardless. Doesn't matter what it is. Now, Fuel window is somewhere between 42 to 46 laps, right around there, 43 to 46. But I wouldn't be surprised to see some of these drivers, because we've seen pit strategy and fuel strategy really come into play. And a lot of drivers really try to test the waters. Sometimes it worked out for them. Sometimes it did not. But I wouldn't be surprised to see drivers push it to that 50 lap mark on a fuel run. So again, got to keep it out for that, because these boys are known for their long green flag runs. So pit strategy, as always, Jeremy, can play a huge factor in the outcome of tonight's event.
Absolutely. And, from our previous experiences, we've seen Josh Benoit in particular. I remember him several times this season try to do an early stop, try to get advantage, and it's never worked out in his favor or anybody else's for that matter. If that 42 to 46 lap window does hold true, that gives them 3 green flag stops if theoretically they go green flag the whole entire distance. And that leaves some wiggle room for that kind of thing where you might want a short pit or something like that. So I love seeing fuel strategy. It never worked in my favor, but I know some people love to try it, and tonight's going to be one of those events where you might really want to, or, as I said, with the draft package, you might not. You might want to have some people to come with you to carry that speed for the late part of the run.
And you very well could. Again, it's always going to play a factor in that on your running mates out there, who you're running with, how you're doing it. Again, pit strategy. Setups. This is an open setup series, so your setups are going to play a factor in that as well, how these drivers have dialed in those setups. It's a really good field right now, Jeremy. I mean, we have a lot of trucks that are looking to take grid in tonight's event, the Tatas for Texas 140, with the exception of one individual. Mr. John Day will not be joining us tonight. John Day had an accident that resulted in a head injury. He's right now recouping at home, watching the broadcast, hopefully, recouping with a concussion. So we wish him a speedy recovery and hope that he gets back to racing action again, because we always enjoy chatting with him and always enjoy seeing him out on the track as well. So again, speedy recovery to John Day.
Yeah, well said there. Yeah, definitely my wishes to him as well. Hopefully he can get back on the track much sooner than later. And as you said, though, there is 25 entries, if I did my math correct, which I think is the most we've had this season. So that's quite awesome to see. We've seen 19 take time right now. We have another 2 minutes left in qualifying, rather. So at this point, this is looking to be the biggest field of the season, and race number 8 of, I do believe, 14, right, Dustin?
Yes, it's actually 16. So 16. They will have 12 regular season racing events. So we are coming down after tonight. They will actually have 4 more racing events for the regular season, and then they will break it apart into their race-offs, where they will race at 4 distinctive tracks, one being a road course, one being a super speedway, one being a speedway, and a short track. So by the time that they crown a Sticker Cabana Truck Series champion at the end of the season, it will be your most versatile driver, or luckiest, however you want to see it, driver out of this entire very padded, very stacked group of drivers, and very talented group of drivers at that.
Oh, no doubt, right? So we see right now, it's not official yet, but Tyler Davala, top spot in qualifying. That's a new name up in the top spot. So we've had 2 repeat winners in the past 2 weeks. We finally got that streak broken of new winners per race in season number 2. And so I would go out on a limb and say maybe we see someone new again. They've got a couple of repeats, and now I think Tyler is one of those drivers. He put down a really blazing fast lap time, and I think he's willing to wanted to break that again to get a 6th new driver into the victory lane this season.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, there's a lot of new drivers. You have Tyler Davala that's up there taking your quick time. Bradley Walters is up there. Jeremy Boucher. Bradley Brandon, Clayton White. There's your top 6 right there. Going down to top 7 is Anthony Crownover before you get to 8th, which is Brooks Dirting, who is a 2-time winner as well this season. So again, before you even get down to that 8th position, I mean, there's 6 drivers in those spots there that have not won yet this season, Jeremy. So again, very, very fast, very quick drivers. Should pose for an excellent race as we get ready to roll off here. With that being said, before we end our pre-race show presented by Martin Sports, we do want to go over and thank our sponsors for this. First and foremost is Martin Sports, again, official apparel provider of Nerditudes, Nerd TV. That product line will be coming out in the near future, so stay tuned on that. But big supporter of Fuel and the league that they have here. Again, Martin Sports, they do, I mean, fantastic, just kick-ass products. They really do. Not trying to cut it short or anything else, but they do excellent products. The ownership and management there is probably some of the best just people that I've had the privilege of sitting down and talking with as well. So, I mean, they've got the total package all the way around with that. So again, check out their products. They do sim racing gear as far as gloves, as far as shorts, socks. They do hoodies, jerseys, you name it. Take a look at their apparel line. That's martinsportsapparel.com. I want to thank Sticker Cabana, the title sponsor for the Truck Series here at Fired Up Esports League. They do excellent, very high-quality die-cut stickers, and they have a large collection of stickers. It would take me a broadcast plus some to even list out half of the collection that they do have. So again, check them out online on Facebook. That's Sticker Cabana. We want to thank NatureMed as well. Again, educate to medicate. We said it before. We'll say it again. Nerditudes is a big supporter of medicinal marijuana. I know every one of us is affected in some way, shape, or form, or a family member or somebody close to us is affected by a mental debilitating, disability like that, whether it's anxiety, depression, PTSD. And for all of our men and women that have served this country, we know that those are things that can cause issues there as well. So again, take a look at them. They are one of the leading dispensaries in Tucson. That is Nature Med. And we want to thank Butt Kicker as well, official audio provider. Again, they do an excellent job with the sim racing rig add-ons, very cost effective. So again, take a look at them. That's thebuttkicker.com/AFF equals 33. Use promo code Fired Up for 20% off. And with that, Jeremy, let's go through our running order real quick.
Yeah, let's get the top 10 in for you guys. We got Tyler Davala taking the top spot. Josh Benoit is outside in second place. I got Bradley Walters there in third. Jeremy Boucher in fourth. Bradley Brandon in fifth. Clayton White sixth. You got Anthony Crown over there sitting in seventh. Brooks Durding, who's coming on a hot streak lately, he's going to be in eighth. Jeremy Coors in ninth. And Timmy Swiggett is going to be taking round out your top 10. We see the pace truck does dip down, so I'm going to kick it over to the race field here as we're waiting for the green flag to come out. Tyler waiting patiently. Green flag is out now. Decent start over Josh Benoit on that inside line there. Dustin, I think these trucks, you're going to see them pretty bunched up. I know they get really lightweight in the rear, and so they might be taking it kind of easy the first couple laps, but after that, I think they're going to be close quarters for the most part here.
And we already have an accident, big-time accident, as a truck goes airborne coming off of turn 2. Jeremy, a lot of these trucks, like I said, they're custom setups. They are having a hard time with, building pressures up. And in these tires here, and that turn 2 coming off there, these trucks and the Xfinity cars and Cup cars are known for getting loose coming off of that corner there, and it looks like that's what happened.
Yeah, Bradley Brandon. Yeah, last night, if the guys watching tonight, if you don't recall, there was a glitch incident on the track in turn 4 there at Lernerville, and tonight here at Texas, that glitch has already shown its face as Bradley Brandon just smashes the inside exit of turn 2 wall, and the game had plans for his truck other than bouncing back into the racing surface, threw him way up in the air and rolled a couple times, and heavy damage. That is a shame, especially we didn't make a half a lap, and then he's already... There's no fast repair either, so his race is basically done at that point. I did think the engine was killed, so that not even a half a lap in, and man, he's got to watch the rest of the event from the garage. That is no good, Dustin.
No, it's not. Very unfortunate break, too. Again, not even a lap in on that and already had an incident. So, again, it's tough when you come with these fixed setups like that, a lot of times you got to let those pressures build up like that. I mean, these trucks do take, variance from the draft and from the wind and the trucks around them as well. They call that, aero loose, aero push, dirty air, you name it. So, I mean, there's a lot of factors that go into it, and these trucks start so close there. So, I mean, there could have been multiple factors that kind of rolled into the events that took place there. But either way, it was a hard impact for that number 9 truck, Bradley Brandon. An unfortunate, this track has taken its first casualty for the night.
Yeah, as we mentioned, that the trucks get really light in the rear end the first couple laps, and that was definitely the case there. No contact, obviously, from the replay. It just got loose, and that wall, that inside wall has never been far away from that track. So it's kind of like Dover in a sense, to where if you go down there, that's not a far drive before you find that wall, Dustin. So, I guess he just kind of showed the field what to expect as far as that first couple laps is concerned on the restarts, and that's just no good for Bradley Brandon. I know he's looking forward to this race, and unfortunately will not be competing the rest of the way.
Yeah, and unfortunately that's that kind of thing is expected to happen, but it did kind of jumble that field up a little bit as well. So again, it's going to be interesting to see once these trucks do get up to speed and really start racing, exactly what is going to what to expect on this. Because Jeremy, you're just at a loss as what I am when it comes to that. We don't know what these drivers bring to these tracks whatsoever. So trying to figure out exactly how this is going to work out, whether these drivers are short run setups, long run setups. It's a gamble for us as well, and we call it as it happens. So it's going to be interesting once we actually start getting some laps ticked down out of this 140 laps, just how this is going to play out.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And just to notate here, Joseph Kazi, I think he missed the initial start. That's why you see him actually in front of your race leader, Tyler Davala. I think when it gets one to go, it should be getting waved around, I would imagine anyways, because he scored right now in 24th place. Of course, Tyler's your race leader, so curious to know if he's going to be able to do a wave around before. We go back to green flag here, which you should anyways, is we got about a lap and a half, lap and a quarter or so until we see that green flag come back out.
Yeah, and he will get that wave around again once that pace truck crosses the start-finish line. And those lights go out on the top of that pace truck. He will get that wave around, and he'll have to cold trickle that bad boy, make it all the way back around to catch up to the rear of the field before these guys start getting lined up to race again. Jeremy, with this, I mean, we have been at some speedways and some cookie cutter tracks. This one here being a quad oval. These drivers really seem to excel when it comes to these tracks, as far as their ability, as far as the racing that they put on. It never fails, and it's an interesting fact because they did it at the start of the season, going from Daytona and then dropping down to a track the size of Bristol, and they're doing it again. They're at 1.5 miles here at Texas Motor Speedway, and next week they're dropping right back down to the paperclip Martinsville Speedway. So their admins of this series here really try to test the drivers' abilities and their ability to transition from one track type to another and one track configuration to another.
Right, yeah. I think I made some praise on it a couple weeks ago, and I'll gladly say it again. Like, the admins did a great job building the schedule, definitely testing the limits and the skill set of these drivers for sure. With a diverse schedule like that, it's kind of cool. You're all over the map. You don't get comfortable. I mean, we did see Kansas last week, so it is a back-to-back 1.5 miles, and then after that, you race that because they're going to Martinsville, which that's a completely different animal compared to any track you throw on the schedule. So it's a very unique track, and we're seeing that pace truck dip down right about now. We see Tyler Duvall getting ready for that first restart of tonight's event. I know they're looking forward to getting that long green flag run going, and let's see if they can do it as the green flag does drop. Pretty even start between Tyler and Josh, and in that second row as well of Bradley and Jeremy, rather. So as they dip down into turn number 1, Tyler gets an early advantage as he takes sole possession of first place. Josh Benoit, there's no grip on this high side, Dustin, so I don't know if he's going to be able to hold it up there, but we'll find out.
Yeah, and as it sits right now, I mean, he's doing a hell of a job right now holding off the advances of the 59 of Bradley Walters right now. As Walters, you see, gets a little loose there. Again, that side draft coming off of the 46 of Benoit just upset that truck enough that, it cost the 59 there. Unfortunately enough, he ended up losing the position he was battling for and another position before he was able to gather it back up. So, and as you look further back, you can see a lot of loose race trucks, which, Jeremy, is very reminiscent of Kansas last week. Right on the early starts of fresh tires, we seen a lot of that, very loose race trucks, and the drivers doing a hell of a job keeping the wheels pointed in the right direction.
Yeah, and this track, I think, is a little bit faster, too, so it's a little more on the extreme side of that looseness. So after like 5 or so laps, you'll see these guys get a little more comfortable, and they'll get a little more racy. But right now, as Bradley Brandon showed us on lap 1, like, you have to take it easy to get those tires warmed up, or else you're just, going to put yourself in a bad spot. So everyone is currently single file for the most part until you get to about 6th or 7th place. I just see Jeremy Coors past Clayton White and some new colors, Dustin. Shiny chrome orange. I really love that. That's kind of a cool look. I haven't seen that from anybody really in quite some time. So, but yeah, outside of that, everyone's just single file and kind of just biding their time, getting used to the track, used to the setup, and they'll be getting racy here shortly.
Yeah, and it is really good to see that. I do love the spec maps that some of these drivers put on their trucks. It definitely puts a whole new layer on it. I love it. back up front before we start working through the field. For the first time tonight, this is the longest run we've had. That 11 of Tyler Davala is coming under some pressure right now from the 46 of Benoit. Benoit's been slowly creeping up on him, trying to reel him in here. It looks like that Benoit does get a little bit better of a run coming off the corners there. But you can see the line difference as we're on board right now on the roof cam. You can see the line difference. Davala's about 5 feet up off from that white line, where Benoit is running much higher. But look at the run he gets off that corner and that closing rate coming up on the back end of 11 before they dive it off into turn 1.
Just not only about we got a huge wreck here on the front stretch. All started in the tri-oval section. We got Jeremy Boucher into the one of Anthony Crownover, and then we got a residual wreck afterwards between looks like Brooks Dirting. We got we got Jeremy Boucher, Jeremy Coors, and heavy into the wall was Timothy Swiggett, who got the worst of that in. Just nosed the outside turn 1 entry. And actually Shane Posey hit the underside of his truck and threw him high in the air. So quite a few trucks with heavy damage, especially Anthony Crownover and Timothy Swiggett. That is heavy contact for sure.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate thing is we're going back right now and watching some of that. We were on board there with Boucher as it was going on. We're actually going to go on board this time with the 83 of Shane Posey. You see the smoke up ahead. Truck's up in the wall. You see a truck airborne, lands right on top of Posey. Posey goes right underneath it. So up front and personal. Don't know if Posey got any damage from that as that truck was coming down, Jeremy, but that's going to be interesting enough to see from the camera angle that we have in the replay. Does not appear like there was any damage done to it, but we all know how iRacing can be with that net code and everything else. So have to keep an eye on that 83 of Shane Posey.
Yeah, Shane better be thanking the racing gods than iRacing if that's the case, because he literally was a wedge for Timothy. And I'm looking at his truck too. I don't see anything. That he better be thanking somebody for sure, because that is one hell of a way to go through a wreck and not receive damage. So, yeah, that truck looks clean. We'll see as he comes to the pit road now. We'll see if there's any damage that the team has to work on that we can't see. Which very well be the case, but I don't see anything, Dustin, so I think you're right there. I think there's no damage involved with him. We see only a few people come down pit road to like to take tires. They do have the 4 sets available in the pit road, and with the extended 15 laps that we're typically not used to seeing, they might be a little more extra conservative using those sets of tires.
Yeah, and they're going to have to. I do believe they've got 5 sets total. That's 1 set on the truck and 4 in the pits. Again, they're going to have to be conservative on that, but a lot of these teams are probably coming down pit road right now because they want to make some quick adjustments to these trucks after having, now coming out of the 13 laps or so on this run. They kind of got at least a little bit of a feel of what's expected. Sometimes they may like it, sometimes they may not. So that's why you see a number of trucks coming down pit road, not just to repair damage from that caution number 2.
Yeah, it looks like there was nothing really there for Shane. That's just that is so fortunate for his behalf there, because that was just something that he couldn't avoid at all. I don't think he even knew he was in the air. He just drove through and all of a sudden, boink, right off the top of his nose. So, nonetheless, we have a couple drivers getting caught back up. We got about 2 laps left before we will see the green flag come out for the second restart for this evening. Tyler Davala, still your race leader. Bradley Walters, after getting loose there, he did recover and put himself back into second place. And Oscar Jensen for the top 3 right now. I'm kind of liking this top 5, Dustin. It's trucks that we typically don't see as a group in front of everybody else. I think our first winner is in 6th place of the season, so a little bit of a diverse top 5 here.
Yeah, and it's always good to see that as well. And again, that's why it's nice to go to different tracks like this, because drivers do. They have their preferred tracks, they have their less preferred tracks, and that's for every driver. A driver is not super good at every track. There is a track here or there that even the best drivers don't perform the exact same as what they do at their strong tracks. So that's why we can come to different tracks like this, and you see a number of different names that you typically haven't been seeing as much all season. And it is, Jeremy, you're absolutely right. It's a great thing to see that, to have these drivers really go out there and give a good showing.
Oh yeah. To see what they got in store for a little bit later on. I know as the track changes, it gets gripped up, rubber's laid down, this and that. There'll be some differences for sure. Won't see any day to night transitions today as we start kind of in the middle of the afternoon, but that track is pretty hot and slick out there. As you've seen from multiple drivers, the track temp's 117 degrees, even though the air temp's 75. Texas is, as close to the sun as you could possibly get, as a lot of people would say that in like Arizona area. So the track is almost 120 degrees and is definitely playing effect as far as the tires, especially if they stay cooled off here running pace laps like this. It just doesn't do well for the tires, and so they need this long green flag run to kind of match the track temp and to keep the grip on the cars.
Yeah, I do want to thank you guys. We did not make mention of it in the pre-race show like what we normally do, but you guys know the chats are always open. And I do want to shout out Tim Henderson, who said this will be fun, talking about slick and fun. It has definitely been slick. That is the understatement of the night for sure. Alicia Simmons also says, go Josh Benoit. Also love the broadcast every week, boys, and we very much appreciate that. Thank you so much for the love. We try to keep bringing you guys, more and better things, and we're going to keep doing it as long as these guys at Fuel keep putting on a damn good show, and it doesn't look like they're going to stop anytime soon. So Pace Truck does pull off. We are getting ready for our second restart as the 11 of Tyler Davala is going to lead him down. Green flag is in the flagger's hands. Green flag flies. We are back underway after our second restart. Tyler Davala has an excellent start, but he does have a lot of pressure from behind by the 27 of Oscar Jensen. Jensen a little wobbly going off into turn one. But on that high side, though, that 59 of Bradley Walters getting an excellent run. Crossover back behind the 11 of Davala. Now puts himself inside preferred line and is now trying to go for the lead. It looks like he will clear Davala going through turns 3 and 4 as long as he can have a clean exit. New leader to the front, 59 of Bradley Walters.
Bradley looking pretty strong right now as he was able to get around Tyler there in the 11 truck. And see Cody Porter actually cracked the top 3 now, so he's actually gained quite a few spots since the green flag has flown, even with the cautions involved. So that truck's bad fast as well. Oscar had that really weird driving to turn 1 on that restart and got really wiggly for whatever reason. I didn't think he had enough speed to get loose, but some reason his truck got upset, and he's found that truck back. He's got some good grip on that thing, and he's going to try to stab back into the top 3. As you see Cody Porter on the back bumper of Tyler Davala, try to maybe get around him for second.
Yeah, those top 3 trucks being the 59 of Walters, you have Davala, and you have the 04 truck. Our nose to tail, the 27 of Oscar Jensen working his way back into the picture, and in tow is the 94 of Braden Carroll. Now, these top 5 trucks here, Jeremy, are starting to pull away and distance themselves from the rest of the pack. Your next driver is the 55, Tyler Bentley, is running in 6th position and now coming under fire from the 92 of Jeff Converse. So Jeff Converse looking like he's coming out here being all racy and competitive as well, so it's good to see him having a good, clean run. And if it's anything like Kansas, we had seen him up around the top 5 all night long. So, and it doesn't look like he is going to shy away from that at all. It's right now he's coming under pressure on that high side. Jeremy, you talked about that high side not having the speed, but right now the 46 of Benoit just passed the 92 of Converse and is now setting his sights on teammate Bentley in that 55.
I want to make a quick mention there in turn 4 a couple laps ago. We didn't see it on camera, but Jeremy Boucher and Clayton White got slightly involved with one another. Exiting turn number 4, and it sent Boucher into the infield grass. He did slide, but save it. No caution is out. You see Boucher actually really slow now on the apron of turn number 3 as they kick it back over live, and he's obviously coming down pit road. I don't know if his truck is under power or not. I don't see any speed gaining from his truck, so Jeremy Boucher's engine might be done here. That'd be your 4th truck out. If so, there's no power death and nothing. It's just still losing speed. So I think Boucher's night is done here at Texas. Other than that, Clayton White, the other person that was involved. Actually, as I just went back to Clayton White, we have a what's that? Richard Malagani heavy into the inside wall in the middle of the backstretch. It brought out the caution because he did spin out in front of the field.
So we are under our third caution of the night. That one brought out by the 22 of Rich Malagani getting loose. Now, he did tow. That's why you've seen him disappear as fast as what you did. A lot of these drivers, if they know the damage is that's extensive like that, they will try to tow as fast as possible to prevent the caution from coming out. But as fast as Rich was at trying to get to that tow, iRacing still ended up throwing that caution. So we are under our third caution of the night with the 59 of Bradley Walters leading your field as we speak, Jeremy.
Yep, Bradley. I think he's going to be my early pick to win this thing if he keeps showing this kind of speed, because he did rip through the field kind of quick. Going back through the grid here, he did start in third, but he did drop back like fifth or sixth, I do believe, at one point, and now he's back up there in the race lead. So that truck's definitely got some speed. But you see most of these leaders come down for some fresh set of Goodyears. It's going to be most of their first sets, maybe even a set number 2. I don't know who pitted the first time around, but a lot of trucks entering pit road, at least early on lap number 14, or actually 23, I'm sorry. So we're not too far into this thing. We still have over 115 laps left, and a lot of these trucks decided to see St. Posey in pit road too. Yes, that's going to be, I think, his second set of tires. So he's going to have to play extra conservative to keep that truck up and running in the front for the long haul of the event. But yeah, I'm glad to see Tyler Duvall actually is your race leader. I do apologize, Bradley. Brandon did fall back to second, apparently. I did not catch that. And then Cody Porter still third, Oscar Jensen fourth, and Braden Carroll, that new face here, in fifth place.
Yeah, so, and I had called that wrong. Going back to the last scoring loop when the caution came out as the 59 and the 11 were in a battle, the 11 did have the position over the 59 of Walters, so iRacing had awarded the lead position back to the 11 of Tyler Duvall. But either way, this top 5 that we have right now, Jeremy, if they keep running the way that they do, they had been running on just a straight rail. They were all very close to each other and pulling away from the rest of the field here. And I think the only thing that we had seen from 6th place on back before that caution came out, we had a chance to go through the field, was the 46 of Benoit was making some power moves on that high side, which is crazy to say the least, that he was finding the speed up there on that high side, because typically a lot of times, depending on the track temperatures, the conditions, the preferred line is that low line going through there, but he was passing 2 trucks, on the high side going through, turns 3 and 4. So
yeah, I definitely caught that. He cleared Tyler Bentley off the exit of turn number 2. It's still early on in the run, so I mean that could have been one of those things where Tyler's truck just felt extra light, being pinched down there, and maybe had to back up a little bit extra. Who knows? But yeah, nonetheless, I don't want to take any credit away from Josh. That truck is also doing some pretty good work so far. Currently running in 6th place. He actually might be one of those guys to watch out for. I know if we keep having these cautions, the strategy is going to be thrown out the window regardless. So we're going to need to see some long green flag runs, and we know Josh is not scared of running or short pitting to try to make up some ground or try to do something different to try to take an advantage and get the race win at the end of the night. But yeah, I expect him to do something. We just need that green flag run, Dustin.
Yeah, and again, we need it for just more than, that fact in itself. Yeah, we need the green flag run like that so that we can throw some strategy in here and, really start playing around. But these drivers also need it as well. I mean, they've got a lot of time and a lot of hours and a lot of laps in these setups, but not with this particular group of individuals here. They'll do practice races and everything else with it to try to get everything dialed in. These drivers yet have had a long run on it to see exactly how their trucks are going to react and how they are going to be. So it's going to be interesting, if we don't get one of those long green flag runs on exactly what type of trucks we're going to have towards the end of the race. Yeah, these guys really don't know. They do all their practicing, right? But they don't know what the competitors are going to do around them. So right now it's just a big guessing game, and
hopefully, in a half a lap when this pace truck dips down, that we will see that run, so we can see what that fuel limit is. You said it's about 42 to 46 laps, so if that's the case, they've already shaved off 25 laps. It still, I think, puts them in a 3-stop strategy if they go green the whole way. They might be able to stretch it out and maybe do 2. But of course, that'll be a story to be told a little bit later on, Dustin.
Yeah. So again, pit strategy, we're still waiting to see how that plays out, but we're going to need those long green flag runs. As you see, the pace lights are off on top of the official pace truck of iRacing. It will be diving down as it does now. The 11 of Tyler Davala is going to lead them back for your restart with the 59 of Bradley Walters to his outside. Green flag flies. We are back to racing action. Excellent start by the 11 of Davala, and right with him on the outside is the 59 of Walters, but Walters now coming under pressure from the 04 truck on the inside. It does look like the 04 will take that position, and the 27 looks like definitely had a better start than the last restart, Jeremy. No wiggles on that one of the 27 of Oscar Jensen, as he's trying to close up right now on the 59 of Walters, and Walters is right back on the inside of the 04 to take that position back, and now sets his sights on the 11 of Davala.
Bradley Walters showing his speed. He's going to regain that second place position over Cody Porter, and now he's got his sights set on, as you said, over Tyler Davala once again. You will see him get there real soon, I would imagine. That truck has just been showing speed when the green flag has been out. And Josh Benoit, the person you said that was going to get excellent speed on those high sides, he just almost cleared Braden Carroll. If it wasn't for Oscar Jensen being in front of him, he would have cleared him. He had to check up because, of course, you can't drive through someone. So, yeah, that truck's just, even in the top 5, Dustin, still carrying a lot of speed on the outside.
Yeah, and again, it helps him out right now because very few trucks are actually going there. You see the 59 in front of him as we're on board on his roof cam. The 59 of Walters is running up there, but for the most part, that is an open lane as he's now on the outside of the 27 of Jensen. And as long as he can have a clean entry through here, you see Jensen's got to roll out a little bit, whereas the 46 of Benoit can stay in it. Look at the run that Benoit gets off the corner. Now sets his sights on the 59 of Walters. Benoit up to 4th.
As you see, at least I did, Cody Porter got a little wiggle off turn number 4. It kind of slowed up just a hair. And Josh Benoit is just crazy. He's blowing my mind how I've never seen anyone run Texas on the high side like that at the newly reconfigured track anyway. So as he dips down to the inside of Bradley Walters, as he's kind of falling back just a hair from that initial start. You see Josh can run high, low, does not matter at this point into the run here. So he's going to try to take securely 3rd place over Bradley as they enter turn number 1, and he's going to do so. And now he's got his eyes set for the top 2.
Yeah, so again, it's the top 2 have pulled away. About a 2 to 3 truck length space separates those 2 from the 46 of Benoit, but that will shrink as long as Benoit keeps running the lines and speeds that he does. But the 11 of Tyler Davala leads the way with the 04 in tow. So as you can look right now, Jeremy, this top 6 are really close. Actually, I'd say probably about the top 10 are actually fairly close to each other. That's going all the way back to Brooks Dirting. Very close and running very, very tight. Looks like the 8 is into the wall a little bit there as we were actually panning through. That's going to be the 8 of Bryson Dirting. Bryson had a very good running a couple weeks ago where he finished top 3, but does have a little bit of scrape and war wounds now on the side of that number 8 truck, as he did end up losing about 4 positions just on that scrape, Jeremy.
He hit the wall, and I actually saw Shane Posey get loose too, so a couple trucks had a little incident. More so, of course, on Bryson with that pretty decent right side damage. These trucks are basically full throttle for a good chunk of the laps here, so you definitely don't want to hurt the truck aerodynamically wise. So I do see even back to his right rear, it's pretty crumpled in. So his truck does look a little slow. You see the 10 come up of Nathan Bauger. At the end of the straightaways, Dustin, is where you're going to see that aerodynamic. As we see a caution actually right in front of these guys in turn number 1 and 2. Jeremy Coors heavy hit to the outside wall in turn number 1. He tried to come down in front of, it looks like, Braden Carroll, and there was just not enough room there, and Coors overcorrected and sent. Oh, actually, nope. He got hit by, looks like, Brooks Dirting. Yeah, Brooks Dirting actually made some contact with him and sent him to the outside wall.
Yeah, it's we were actually on the feed watching that as it happened. It looks like there might have been a little net code between him and the 94. Almost had it saved and just got enough contact from the 99 of Dirting that ended up sending him completely around. So again, there was just, I don't know from the camera angles we had if the 97 came down, if the 94 truck had moved up. I don't know, or if they just came together. But it did look like that there was some white space in between. But with the way that that truck got loose, that wasn't just a truck snapping loose on that. There was possibly some netcode issues that happened there, and he almost had it saved, but just with nowhere else for that low line to go, Jeremy, there was just, Brooks had nowhere to go. He had trucks behind him, and that was happening in front of him. He slamming on the brakes was going to cause a bigger issue, so he just held his line and did the best that he could.
Me having the flexibility here of going through a little bit more camera angles, I can tell you that Braden didn't enter the corner as low as what Jeremy was expecting. Jeremy came down like he would be, on a normal outside groove with the inside truck pinched down to the white line, but Braden took a little bit of wider entry, which Jeremy just miscalculated on. And he did an excellent job saving that truck, but then Brooks Dirting just, with very little space between him and that apron. And he got hit by, looks like Tyler Bentley as well. It just kind of really shoved Jeremy back up the track. And then as you saw too, as Jeremy was spinning around, we saw Shane Posey have some heavy contact himself bouncing off the turn 2 wall. He tried squeezing through. Looks like on the back of Kazi and Converse and nosed the wall, and he's out of the race actually because of that. His engine was blown when he smacked the wall, so we've seen quite a few trucks at this time out of the race.
Yeah, and that's an unfortunate thing. Shane just having bad luck tonight at Texas. Everything is bigger in Texas, and obviously the being at the wrong place at the wrong time was definitely the bigger part of Shane Posey's night tonight. We've seen him run so well before, and it just seems like that, not anything of his doing, just bad timing. And Jeremy, we've talked about this before. I mean, that's racing. I mean, it's 50% of racing is skill, 50% is knowledge, 50% is luck. No, math was not my strong suit. But just luck not on Shane Posey's side tonight.
Yeah, he's been involved in a couple of things this season. So not only tonight especially, but quite a few races this season up to this point. He's had not the best of luck, and I know he's really looking forward to turning that around. And I guess we're gonna have to wait another week. Martinsville's a really tough track to gain some momentum, but you never know, right? So maybe he'll find some luck randomly and get him back going to where he would comfortably like to be, running in that top 10.
Absolutely, and Shane does shout out in the chat there that he got the bad end of that one there, and that's exactly what we had just explained to the viewers out there. It's an unfortunate thing, just in the wrong place at the wrong time on that. As we do have a new leader, that 06 of Clayton White is out front. And Jeremy, I got to say, we are looking out from the deck lid of Mr. White's truck. And I got to tell you, it's the placement on this is perfect. And it wasn't until the cameras actually swung around. Spoiler says thank you to all sponsors and supporters, and it's set up so that the deck lid camera can read it, and so all the viewers can read it as well. See Martin Sports and Sticker Cabana, two of the big sponsors there for Fuel and this series. But it's good to see Clayton White out front there, electing not to come down pit road, seeing as they had just been under service not too long ago. So again, you're already starting to see strategy going, so that is going to put Clayton White, that 06, in that first position. The 10 truck of Nathan Bogger is going to be in that second position, and the 46 of Josh Benoit, who we had seen really working that high line, is going to be right behind and lining up right behind his Hideaway Motorsport teammate of Clayton White, starting in third.
Nathan's putting on a strong run here, guys, as he's into second place now. Highest he's ran this evening. One of those trucks, he started 19th. He did not take a lap time, so he's come from 19th to second in a matter of 37 laps. So he's definitely got one of those trucks to watch out for, one of those little one of those drivers that you didn't expect, and now he's there, and he's definitely showing some power dust underneath that truck right there.
Yeah, and you had talked about he is up 17 positions from his grid spot. Some of the other big movers, the 0-4 up 22 positions. You do got the 88 of Kazi up 12 positions. Ron Holmes in that 33 up 14 positions from his starting spot up to the 11th position. So a lot of big gainers so far in this race. And they're gearing themselves up to have an excellent points night as long as they can maintain those trucks and make it to the end.
Yeah, you see the pace truck does dip down. Clayton White going to be taking the green flag on this restart. Elected to choose the inside line. Green is out. Good start there by Clayton and Josh there right behind him. And even Tyler Davalas, he's already trying to peek to the inside of the 46 Toyota. Behind them, looks like they got a little squirrel. Looks like Nathan had a little bit of a struggle with a tire spin or something, and he's going to lose lots of spots. He's going back to, what is that, 10th, 11th, 12th? That's a heavy thing. They're still 3 wide. He's still losing spots, so huge troubles with Nathan right now.
Yeah, right now he's sitting back in 12th, 13th now. So lost a lot of spots on that restart, and that just goes to show that restarts are so critical to this. But as all that was going on, we didn't get a chance to see that the 46 of Josh Benoit has moved to that number 1 spot with the 11 of Tyler Davala right on his tail, really trying to chase him down. You see Davala going to that high side, Benoit running that midline. Clayton White had fallen back to 3rd. These two are going into the corner side by side. So, again, a lot of moving and a lot of shaking. These two here are going to duke it out. Clayton White says, you know what, boys? You guys go ahead and just do that. I'm just going to sit right back here and ride till you guys figure out where you're wanting to sit.
You won't believe where Josh Benoit made that pass on the high side. So that truck's still showing where the preferred line is for him anyways. And Tyler actually just, followed suit. He opened the door and he took it. And then Tyler's actually trying to make that pass on the high side of Josh Benoit. But Josh just has that truck that's too strong to make that move on. So he is falling back behind the 46. And then Clayton White's actually falling back almost to 5th place here. We got the damaged truck there of Bradley there trying to make some moves around him, which looks like he might get a good run on. Nope, it looks like Clayton's going to have a good strong run there. But they're running side by side for top 5.
Yeah, and one thing that I've been noticing is we have a lot of the Hideaway Motorsports drivers seem like they can hold their own on that high side, Jeremy. We see the 59 of Walters right now really struggling to get by the 06 of Clayton White. And again, Clayton White's teammate is the current race leader, Benoit. We've seen him make how many passes on that high side. So these ham drivers might have something going on and might be prepping and setting up for late races. The 06 of Clayton White is now coming under attack from the 88 of Joseph Kazi. Kazi trying to work his way up after that missed gridding that took place, but is now working his way back up into the top 5 now. So again, look out for that 88. We know that he knows how to finish these races off, but again, we haven't really seen what these trucks can do. We're only working lap 43 of 140 right now, so we haven't seen what these trucks can do and how much they're going to fall off on those long runs, Jeremy.
Just on 100 laps to go. Joseph Kazi, official grid spot of 21st. Definitely missed the start, like you said. And he is up into the top 5. So, as we see the green flag run finally starting to go in a little bit further in, we're starting to see these trucks that have those setups. And, right in front of Kazi, we just saw... Who was that just blew his engine? That was Bradley Walters. We saw the heavy damage on his nose, and it finally it overheated, Dustin, and engine blew up. He is done for this evening.
That is unfortunate because such a strong showing, and it does not look like he's going to make it back to pit road. But it does look like he gets the tow. No, he does not as the caution comes out. That's the unfortunate thing with that. Unfortunately, he wasn't going to have enough speed to make it back to pit road with where it blew up, and he did try to pull it as far off the track as possible and tow, but iRacing still tagged that and still threw out that caution. Now, this is not what these front 3 trucks were wanting at all, Jeremy, because the 46 of Benoit, the 11 of Davala, and that 04 were pulling away from the rest of the field, and they were nose to tail. So this is not what they were wanting because it closes everything right back up again. And now as we are working lap 45 of 140, it begs the question on exactly what some of these drivers are going to do as far as pit strategy.
We're about to see it right now. See who does dip down. Looks like Cody Porter and Tyler Davala are going to be the first two to take that dip. Joseph Kazi, rightfully so, behind them, does take down the pit road as well, just because the truck's been flying through the field. As much as Tyler and Josh did not want to see that caution, I think who wanted to see that most was Kazi, because he just been going through the field so quick. He needed a new set of tires to kind of reset, and Dustin, I think that Kazi is going to be putting on a good run, maybe for the podium positions here real shortly. 5 or 10 laps, I think he's going to be up there with those guys trying to get that top spot.
Yeah, now, again, everybody except for your current race leader pretty much hit pit road as far as your lead lap trucks. So that's going to put him out there on older tires. Now, Jeremy, this can play out one of two ways. It can play out in his favor and not in his favor. The obvious one not in his favor being that he's on older tires. Not much older tires, as they had just been down pit road not too long ago on a previous caution. But these other drivers are going to have fresher sneakers under their trucks right now, meaning that they're going to be able to hold their lines and the speeds will be increased. But that also means that some of these drivers have gone down and have used up another set of tires. The way that things have gone with some of these cautions here, it is probably a safe bet. And if we're thinking it, I guarantee you the 46 truck of Benoit is thinking the same thing, that there's going to be another caution. So even if he does lose positions due to the older tires, he'll be able to make it back up, and that's also going to give him an extra set towards the end of the race, which is where you're going to want those extra sets.
Yeah, we see Tyler Bentley. He actually came down pit road a lap later, even though he was in position to be in third on that restart. He thought differently of it. So that's just going to put Josh Benoit in even a little bit more of a pickle there, because Tyler Davala is going to be the next truck behind him with about, what was it, about 10 to 15 lap fresher tires. And at this track, Josh has got his work out cut for him. I don't know, Dustin. I might have, with the cautions coming out the way they are, it is saving some tires, yes, but I really feel like Josh needed those tires, and now he's just going to be a sitting duck because everybody else, for the most part, has pitted behind him. And I'm curious to know how far he's going to fall behind. Maybe hold it for a lap or two, but they're going to be on his tail the whole time.
They are, but one thing that we are not throwing in the mix here is how the Hideaway Motorsports trucks have been running that high line. Running the high line and everything else, I mean, it's going to chew the tires up more on that low side, and he's going to save tires running on that high side. So, with that being said, look at how many laps he ran on the high side and how many passes he made on that high side as well. I mean, there's a lot of factors and variables in here that this is why it's fun, ladies and gentlemen, is because with this strategy, you have no idea what to expect, but it's gearing up for another Benoit strategy. Sometimes so far this season in 7 races, it's worked out for him. Other times it has not worked out for him so well. But like we always say, Jeremy, you're not going to know unless you try. And Benoit is definitely one of the drivers here that is not afraid to try something unorthodox.
Correct. And as I mentioned in the pre-race, that he's one of those guys who just loves trying to do a different strategy than everybody else. You are now seeing it. He's the only truck out there that stayed out. So he's gonna try to make that gamble and see what he can make out of it. Maybe he's thinking if he can get enough cautions and save enough tires, that he'll be on the freshest set. But then, as you said just a moment ago, he has that high line down pat for the most part. Like, no one's been able to touch him up to this point. So using that as a defensive line to keep the leaders behind him, that actually might work out in his favor here. Yeah,
and again, I mean, it's all we can do is just guesstimate at this point in time and just go based off of what all the viewers out there, what everybody out there has seen right along with us. But, I mean, if anybody can do it, Josh can definitely get it done out there, and especially with as strong as he's been on that high line. And we've seen very few trucks really work the high line the way that he has in some of his Hideaway Motorsports teammates. So again, we're going to find out here as that pace truck is getting ready to pull off, Jeremy.
Josh Benoit ready for that green flag to come out, which it is out right now. Green flag is out. He's got to worry about that tire spin because of the a little bit older tires. Did not affect him, but Tyler with an excellent restart as well, keeping it right on his rear bumper. Entering turn number 1 here, Josh Benoit keeps the low side, I think, in turn 3 or maybe even next lap in turn number 1. We'll see him maybe on the defensive line a little early.
Yeah, as you see, the 11 at Davala is really closing in, trying to get closer before poking that nose down. Goes to do it there, does poke the nose in. The 46 of Benoit does give it to him. A little bit of bobble there and wobble from the 11, which allows Benoit to retain that lead. So as it sits right now, even on older tires, that 46 truck still maintaining that race lead. But as you said, Jeremy, and that's exactly what it appears as we're watching from the deck cam right now, that Benoit is running a defensive line there. But that is where his truck has been running pretty much most of the night, Jeremy. So it's not out of spite or anything else. I mean, that's just where his truck's been going. Looks like that 11 a little loose and a little wobbly there as we're catching that. And now the 46 of Benoit putting a little bit of space there, about a truck length distance in between him and second place. So, again, we're going to see exactly how this is going to work out, Jeremy. We had stated before, Benoit is not afraid to try some of the most unorthodox things. That's also why he's a race winner so far this season.
Yeah, Tyler Davala looking like a Kyle Busch setup where he's running top 3 and he's loose all over the place. So he definitely knows how to hold a loose truck. It shows at this point in time. As you were just talking briefly, Bryson Durning did get back into the outside wall at turn number 2, just like he did about 10 or 15 laps ago when we caught him do it the first time. So a little bit more damage to that right side, but his truck's still running. No harm, no foul for the most part there. Everybody else behind the leaders all single file, so the action is for the top 6 right now as they are all nose to tail, Dustin.
Yeah, the 46 of Benoit still under pressure from the 11 of Davala. Davala putting on a hell of a show, hell of a run tonight as well. The 04 truck right behind, little bit of space, about 2 truck lengths rather. You go back to 4th and 5th place. That's that battle for 4th between the 88 of Kazi and the 27 of Jensen. Those two duking it out, going side by side, and right behind them is the 06 of Clayton White. Clayton White, after leading some laps early on in this event, is now starting to make some moves as he's really closing in on the back bumper of the 88 of Kazi. Kazi with a little bit of a slip up and bobble. Door checks the 27 of Jensen. Both drivers keep it going straight, but Jensen does lose that position and now puts the 06 of Clayton White on the inside. And that 94 of Braden Carroll on the inside. So Jensen going to lose not 1, but 3 positions at the end of that one there. And it gets loose coming off the corner. That truck is just uncomfortable beyond belief looking right now, Jeremy.
Yeah, I really hope that Kazi Spotter did go to Oscar Jensen there and try to talk to him, because they did run a side-by-side that entire lap prior to that contact. So it was definitely nothing intentional. He just got down to the apron and got the truck a little loose, came up to the track, and Oscar just was there, just enough of a graze, didn't spin him out, thankfully, and they're back to being nose to tail, Dustin.
Yeah, and it's so easy with these trucks too, because I mean the package that these trucks have, they are so racy, especially at these 1.5-milers like this, that it's so easy that you want to try to get as close to that white line as possible. As you see the 94 of Braden Carroll do the exact same thing that Kazi did just a lap and a half ago. It's so easy to get down there, and when you do, that's what happens. I mean, it bobbles and it drives that truck up the track a little bit, and with the 88 and the 27 running so close, it just so happened that Jensen was right there. But again, excellent driving on Kazi's part, keeping it straight even after the apron tag, and on Jensen's part of keeping it straight. I mean, he did lose a couple positions, but it could have been so much worse. So drivers are definitely up on the wheel tonight.
Much worse it could have been indeed, but Clayton White making some strong moves. You mentioned he was trying to look back through and get to the top 5, and he's actually cracked the top 3 at this point as he goes around Cody Porter, exiting turn number 4 there on lap 56. So he owns sole possession of 3rd place. Going back to the leaders, Josh has done nothing but ruin my playbook, because I expect him to fall back, as I was mentioning him in the caution break, and he is still holding his own there in front of Tyler Davala, so that's kind of surprising. Maybe the tire wear isn't as bad as what I was thinking a little bit earlier on, and Yeah, he's making me throw him on my playbook, so I got to rethink of the strategies of what's going to play out a little bit later on.
Yeah, and it's not through the lack of efforts from the 11 of Davala either, because Davala has been all over the back end of that 46 truck. But as these two are duking it out, as you had stated, Clayton White is moving forward and catching them. As you see, man, that 11 truck, a lot of yaw in that thing going through the corners. He's really hanging it out there. So like you said, it definitely knows how to drive and pilot a very loose race truck there. But, I mean, these two racing the way they are, as we're on board right now on the roof cam of that beautiful metallic orange truck that Clayton White is running. It's a nice change this week. He's closing in, Jeremy, and I would say here within the next lap or two, that's going to be a 3-truck battle.
Yeah, we're about 20 laps into this green flag run, the longest of any run this evening. Tyler, with any type of NASCAR car at high speeds, you want to run off that right rear, but he's doing a little bit too much. So if he keeps that up, that truck's just going to get loose and loose and loose. Benoit's truck looks pretty stout. And as you mentioned, yeah, you definitely want to run close to that white line as possible. I know whenever I ran at Texas, I'd always try to find the white line as soon as I entered that corner and kind of grip it. So, and Clayton White actually dips into the inside of Tyler Davala, and he's making a push for second place.
Yeah, these two, he has been on a rail since the drop of the green flag on that restart. He bobbled, he tagged the apron a little bit, much like Kazi did just a number of laps ago. Kind of upset his truck a little bit, but he regathered everything back up and is now putting a lot of pressure on that 11. And all this is doing right now, Jeremy, is helping out his Hideaway Motorsports teammate of Josh Benoit, because with these two duking it out, that's just allowing Josh to pull ahead further even more. But I tell you what, right now, these two are really battling it, and as they're doing it, the 46 is pulling away and the 04 is closing in.
Josh Benoit just kind of setting sail right now. He's in his own groove. That truck is not loose, not tight. It's just running exactly where he's trying to aim that truck to go, and the speed is clearly there. As you can see, Clayton White almost clears Tyler Davala off the exit of turn number 2. Cody Porter looking for that door to open up for himself to get into the podium spot here in third place. We see Clayton White finally make that pass, 100% successful, and Josh Benoit actually ran pretty high in that corner there. I don't know if he's trying something new because he had extra speed there, or extra distance between the guys, but it wasn't the fastest. But he tries it again here. He's almost in the middle of the racing surface, entering that turn number 1 there that time. So maybe he's just using that little bit of that advantage of the distance there to try to find a new line set for himself.
Yeah, and as we're looking off the deck cam right now, Clayton White, it looks like the 11 of Davala is losing a lot of speed on corner exit as he's real loose coming off there. So he's scrubbing off a lot of speed right now, which is allowing the 06 to pull further away and to try to close up on his teammate of Josh Benoit. Jeremy, I'm telling you, you never doubt Benoit, because he is anything that we said that may not, we threw it out both ways. It could work in his favor, not work in his favor. Anything that was along the lines of not working in his favor, he has completely crumpled that up and threw it out the door as he's gone by and leading another lap. So even with the older tires, I mean, he's out there on the rail right now, and he's got his Hideaway Motorsports teammate right in tow.
Excellent performance for sure by Benoit, even on that older set. I think he, like I said, about 10 or 15 laps older set of tires and still just making a killing out there. I did notice that Cody Porter did get around Tyler Davala for third place rather, so Tyler does fall back to 4th. And I wish we had a white pair of gloves on this guy, Mr. Davala, because he is still loose. He gets loose in front of Dirting, and Dirting's now going to take the inside for 4th place. That'll drop Davala back to 5th. That truck, like I said, he ran too much on that right rear, and that truck is just all over the map, Dustin.
Yeah, I mean, he was running it good, clean, and hard at the start of the race, and like you said, might have just, weighed down on that right rear just a little bit more. It just kind of trying to wait what's going on. But, I mean, some drivers like a looser race truck as well. It's just, from what we're seeing up here, he's losing and scrubbing off a lot of speed on corner exit because he does have to, back the throttle for the throttle control, or, take a little bit of wheel out of it to try to save that. So, but, I mean, either way, he's still running in the top 5, still having a solid night. Brooks Dirting up in the top 5 really starting to chase these guys down as we see a battle right now for second between the 06 of White and that 04 machine. 04 had passed, and Clayton said, no, not having any part of it, went and powered right back by. You see a little bit of wobble there from the 06 of Clayton White, but as these trucks are battling, it's about to be a 3-truck battle as the 99 of Brooks Dirting is looking to get up in the mix here. It's, again, just allowing the 46 of Benoit to just drive away. He's in cruise control right now as the 04 truck does get on the inside and look like he's going to complete that pass, leaving the door open for Dirting. Dirting looks like he's going to try to push that issue and try to put his nose in there. It does, with a little bit of slip up from Clayton White up on that high side, so Clayton White looking like he might drop back to fourth.
Clayton White, one of many trucks that are experiencing a very loose feel in the truck right now. I have noticed going back to the field quite a bit. We do see a lot of trucks starting to get loose, so it's just one of those late run things that we're now finally get to experience around lap 50 or 60 as we're about almost 30 laps into a run here. So definitely can see where the next set of pit stops are going to be going to fix these trucks up for the long haul.
Yeah, and again, this is exactly what we needed. We needed these long green flag runs like this so that these drivers could really get a sense of how their truck is going to be on the long haul, because it very well could be that we could finish this race under green flag conditions, I mean, going all the way to the end of the checkers, and it could be towards the tail end of a fuel run, and these drivers are not going to want to be battling these loose race trucks like that, when they're trying to battle for a win. So this is exactly what these drivers needed to get a better handle on these trucks for, end of the race.
Yeah, 100%. Josh Benoit, he is basically the measuring stick for everybody else out here. He needs to just keep doing what he's got to do, and these guys know they need to tighten these trucks up a little bit more. They can make a few in-car adjustments to maybe make it a little tighter on the wedge there. So they might be trying to do that, maybe using a little bit of brake to kind of keep that nose pointed straight. It's just we got pit stops coming. Probably 5 or 10 laps according to your fuel window, so look out for that shortly.
Yeah, and we're actually on board with the helmet cam with Benoit, and he is experiencing a loose race truck as well. Not as bad as some of the other ones, but coming out of turn 4 last lap, he did have to crack the wheel to the right, just snap it ever so lightly to keep that truck going in the right direction. We'll see if he does it again coming out of turn 4 here. Right around that transition. He does not have to. So, I mean, overall, it does look like that his truck is handling probably quite nicely compared to some of the other trucks out there, Jeremy.
Yeah, this truck's just on a whole nother level as we keep talking about him. He's, you can see that wheel just nice and smooth. Doesn't have to overcorrect anything. Just very, even you can hear the throttle. That thing is just nice and smooth. So, he doesn't need to make any adjustments, obviously. He's on his own little zip code right now. Just showcasing the field where everybody else needs to be. Going through the field here a little bit. Everybody else is kind of falling back, doing their own thing. Benoit on his own zip code. Cody Porter actually been running some pretty similar lap times, looking over those to Benoit. So his truck just looks a little bit loose, but that's in his favor. And as they come down closer to these pit stops, actually we got some lap traffic too also in front. That might play a small portion into Cody Porter maybe catching Benoit a little bit here as we see the 10 actually decently into the wall there, keeps it up high, avoids the leaders. No harm, no foul for them.
Yeah, so again, lap traffic, the first time that these leaders have really dealt with that on this long green flag run. So your top 5 right now are pretty well set. The 46 still leading the way of Josh Benoit. You got the 04 in second. Brooks Dirting is in third right now, spaced out between your top 2 trucks and your 4th and 5th place trucks, which are Clayton White and Tyler Duvall. Those two are still going at it back and forth for that 4th position. Then you have to go a little bit further back to get to your 6th place truck of Braden Carroll right now on that number 94. Right behind him is the 27 of Oscar Jensen. Again, Jensen, after having that contact with Kazi there, where Kazi tagged the apron, is rebounded back, sitting solidly in 7th place. No pressure from behind from the number 5 of George Oakes running in 8th. Behind him is the 88 of Kazi. So Kazi's truck has kind of fallen off and gone away a little bit from the start of the that last restart there. Ron Holmes in that 33 truck. It is great to see him having such a good one, as wicked loose coming out of 4, but a hellacious save. Way to be up on the wheel on that one there. Tagged the apron a little bit and kicked it sideways, but he is running in 10, so it's really good to see him have a really good race as well, because he's been running solid, and I know he loves these speedway tracks like that, but it does look like he's going to yield that position to teammate Tyler Bentley, try to regather everything after that save. I tell you what, he had that thing dirt sliding, did a heck of a job on that. So Tyler Bentley to 10th, Ron Holmes to 11th. Jeff Converse is your 12th place car right now, but is a lap down. As you can see, he's going to be coming under attack from your 4th and 5th place trucks of Davala and White. So he is going to yield and go down low, let those guys kind of duke it out. Nathan Bogger again in that 10 truck. We've seen him have that tough start, and he'd gotten in the wall again, but still running solidly in 13th. Bryson Dirting's been in the wall as well, running in that 14th position, and Jeremy Coors, after that accident, is sitting in 15th.
Yeah, every time we go over to Holmes, I see his trucks just all over the place. So they got some huge setup adjustments to make whenever they take that green flag stop. We are just halfway past in this race, and Cody Porter has finally found some speed here, as he's underneath a half a second from Benoit. At the line that time, he's 0.346, so he is making gains, a tenth or two per lap right before the pit stops are going to be coming up, so be on the lookout for that. Outside of that, though, everybody else is just falling back further and further. You see Tyler Davala finally cleared Clayton White a good chunk of distance, so the pressure's off of him on that end. And a shout out to George Oakes too, being in 8th place. Like, that's one of those trucks that we haven't seen up there too much, but he's definitely showing some good speed tonight as well here at Texas.
Yeah, and as you were talking about, the 04 truck is really starting to trying to close up on that. Something to keep in mind out there, folks, is the 46 truck, as you see him get loose there and saves it, has got 15 lap older tires than what that 04 does. And it's taken this long here to try to chase him down. So if you put equal tires on both of these trucks, imagine the racing that's going to take place. I do want to shout out, I do see that John Day, glad to see you on there, buddy. He wants to shout out and tell Holmesy, nice save. It indeed was an excellent save. Definitely up on that wheel is the 33 of Ron Holmes. Glad to see you up there watching the broadcast, buddy. We wish you the best of luck. Heal up, get better, and we look to see you back out on the track as well. So back up front, though, the 04 on the inside of the 46 of Benoit, but Benoit has been holding it nice and strong on that high side as he's still fighting it, getting that good run coming off the corner here. He's not giving it up, and he's going to make that 04 work for it, Jeremy.
He's finally succumbing to the older tires there, as Cody Porter does clear him finally, and now lead change for the first time in over 50-some laps. So Cody Porter going to probably just pull away at this point, because Benoit's really loose. He ducks low early there. Maybe he's trying to do something a little different here. That was kind of a really weird entry into turn number 3. And, of course, it shot him really wide as expected. You can't hug that low of an entry there and make it happen. So Cody Porter just now pulling away. Telemetry has him 0.4 of a second in front, so he has gained over half a second just that lap alone, Dustin. And everybody else is... Actually, you see some people on pit road. I do believe I caught at least one truck. No, actually I didn't. Oh, yeah, we do. We have one person exiting pit road now. So we're starting to finally see. That was Clayton White that made that pit stop. So green flag stops are officially underway.
Yeah, and it's right around that window that we were talking about. So expect to see more trucks coming down pit road as you see the 06 of Clayton White rejoining the racing surface after coming to the attention of his crew. So it's only going to be a matter of time before we start seeing some of these other drivers duck down, as we're looking at a battle right now, or soon to be battle for third place. The 99 of Brooks Dirting is now coming under fire from the 11 of Tyler Davala. So as loose as that truck is, Tyler is wheeling the heck out of that thing, and enough to where he's even putting pressure on Brooks right now for that third position, Jeremy.
I also make a note, huge implications for Clayton White, that first person to come down pit road. He is back on pit road 2 laps in a row. Looks like he had a speeding penalty of some kind, and he is serving it in his pit stall. I'll try to get confirmation on that, but one of your top 5 trucks is now going to be multiple laps down. We see Josh Benoit in pit road alongside George Oakes. It looks like Cody Porter, not this time around. Yeah, we're starting to see the people do it come down for sure. Josh Benoit, one of those early pit stops, I know he was really looking forward to get some new set of tires on the truck and hopefully be a lot more even with everybody else to kind of showcase his speed there, because he had an unfair advantage with those 15-lap older tires.
Yeah, as it does look like he is going to have a clean pit exit as he works around. It was a good entry, fast in the stall, real clean out, which it's nice and easy to do that when you have the second pit stall. Only one pit stall a little further ahead, and that was the 11 of Tyler Davala. So again, Jeremy, we are working through our green flag pit stops as it sits right now. The 67 of Scott Martin on pit road, coming to the attention of his crew. A little crinkle on the nose on that machine, Jeremy. Definitely looks like he has found himself in some bad places at the wrong times as well, much like some of the other ones, but he is faring better than some of the other drivers that this track has taken claim to them for the night, as we do have a number of trucks out of the race. So again, drivers really starting to go. Right now, the 04 truck out front by a lot as we are cycling through. The 11 of Davala did get around the 99 of Brooks Dirting and is now sitting in the second position after the 46 came down pit road to the service of his crew.
Yeah, when you're on the throttle the whole time here at Texas, we saw Bradley Walters, one of their top 5 trucks earlier on this evening. His engine blew because he had some damage to that nose, a little bit heavier than what that we're seeing on quite a few of these other guys. But still, that's one thing where if you get to the radiator, your night's basically done at this track for sure. Track temps exceeding 122 degrees now, so definitely hot and slick out there. And if your truck's already running hot, and then now you hurt the radiator, like your chances are basically gone. So make sure you keep that nose clean for sure. So some of these trucks kind of stretch it out, so it looks like Josh Benoit is going to be on another one of those strategies to where he's going to be on that 10-lap older tire here if they keep going the way they're going. And we got about 50 laps left, so it's a one more stop after everyone does make their fully cycled green flag stop. So we could see a huge difference in strategy, Dustin.
Yeah, we definitely could. And depending on how long some of these other drivers can stretch it out, the stop that they take may be their last one. Now, remember at the start of the pre-race show presented by Martin Sports, we talked about fuel strategy and pit strategy playing a factor into it. With the fuel window already being right around that 43 to 46, you might see somebody try to stretch it out, especially if it's going to stay green flag like this, to try to possibly maybe win it on fuel. And just fuel alone is something else. Now, that would all change if a green-white checkered would happen. That would throw that right out the door, and they wouldn't have enough fuel. But again, we have seen stranger things from these cats here at the Fired Up Esports League, Jeremy.
Pretty sure we saw Josh do 125 laps at Bristol, which kind of may have scratched our heads for sure. And you might be onto something here. Cody Porter, your race leader, is currently on lap 93. That's going to put him right now 48 laps to go. And if that pit window exceeds 46, that's going to put him right at that spot to where one more stop and that'll do it for him. So this might be another one of those disadvantages for Josh Benoit, as he is definitely going to have to make one more stop if it goes green the rest of the way. Cody Porter is now essentially on a one more stop, and he's good to go as long as some of these other drivers too. So Josh Benoit is definitely going to have to hope for a caution for sure, at least one more to get everything equaled up and get him on that one-stop strategy.
Yeah, and that's what a lot of these other drivers as well. So the other drivers we're talking about are the 11 of Davala, the 99 of Dirting, the 94 of Braden Carroll still has not come down pit road, the 27 of Oscar Jensen, 88 of Joseph Kazi, the 55 of Bentley, and the 33 of Holmes have still yet to come down to the attention of their crew. So, again, that pit strategy may be playing a heavy factor in this, Jeremy. And some of these drivers that are still out, that top 8 that I just mentioned, they may be onto something and could be setting themselves up for a fantastic finish here, weighing heavy on strategy.
Yeah, strategy is the story for the rest of the race for sure, unless there's a spoiler or two when a caution comes out. But right now, strategies across the board. People have pitted 10 laps to go. People are still stretching it, even though they're in that field window to make it one more. We see Oscar Jensen, and Kazi saves it. I don't know how he saved it. You're going to have to go back and check that one out. He barely scratched the inside wall. I don't know if he got some damage, but I think he definitely sped. So that's going to maybe knock Kazi out of the race, the lead lap for that matter. So we'll have to see if he makes a pit stop on the following lap to do any type of penalty. But close call nonetheless. He did save it. That was a great save. And yeah, we're still seeing like Cody Porter stretch it out. He's, almost 40 laps left to go in this event. He's one of those trucks that needs to come down. We see the 92 blow by him right now, or at least try to anyways, just because of that huge difference of speed and the wear and tear on the tires.
Yeah, now it's we'll have to keep an eye on the 88 of Kazi. Now, if he does get dinged for speeding, would not be the first time this season. If you do recall, he did get dinged in a previous race as well. Now, he did bounce back from that and come back and have an excellent finish, but it did cost him, as you see the 94 of Braden Carroll peeling down pit road right now. And it looks like the 55 of Tyler Bentley is going to follow suit right behind. So a lot of these drivers now coming in for potentially what could be their final pit stop of this racing event of the Tatas for Texas. 140 as long as it stays green flag.
Yeah, Braden Carroll, one of those fast guys in pit road. Tyler Bentley alongside him as well. We see Cody Porter finally make that dip alongside Holmesy there. So a lot of your top guys in pit road this lap, this time, so they're all going to be on the same exact strategy. Cody Porter right now with that long run dominant truck. We got about just 100 laps, or 40 laps left to conclude this race, and Dustin, I think Cody's sitting right now in a really good spot. He's got a really clean pit stop there, really fast entry, and good stop for the crew too. Really quick time there. So I think Cody's in an excellent position to finish this thing out.
Yeah, and it's as you see, these trucks are starting to pull back out. So the 55 of Tyler Bentley re-enters the racing surface here. As this cycles through, the 46 of Benoit will take over that top spot again, as we are going to be working lap 100 of 140, so right at 40 laps to go. So we will see exactly how this is going to play out. But as it sits right now, you're going to have Benoit leading. You're going to have that 0-4 running second. Right now, the 5 of George Oakes running third, with the 99 of Brooks Dirting running fourth, and rounding out your top 5 is going to be that number 11 of Tyler Davala.
I went back and looked at Kazi. Apparently, he got it woed up in time. I didn't see him come back down a second time, so I think he just had it cut really close all the way through. Slight scratch on the inside, no harm, and he did not speed, so he is good to go, running currently in 8th place himself. But, yeah, Josh Benoit with a huge lead, 13.5 seconds. But that will diminish quickly, as we've seen strategy play out before, though Josh has been impressive, but as long as if he were to install a second tank of gas into that truck, then maybe he can make it, but I don't think by our calculations he's going to be able to do so.
Yeah, it's, again, only time will tell, but if anybody's going to try it, I can definitely see the 46 of Benoit trying it. Again, probably one of the most unorthodox drivers out there, and by unorthodox drivers, I mean willing to try anything. If he thinks he can get a win out of it by trying fuel strategy or anything else and nobody else is doing it, hell with it. I'll try it. Let's see what's going to happen. But you did talk about that space right now, 13 seconds. So, yeah, right now the 46 has older tires than your second place runner in that 0-4. But that 0-4 is going to have to push his truck to really chase down Benoit, meaning he is going to burn his stuff up where Benoit's got open track. He can run whatever line he wants. He can go as comfortable as what he wants, and yes, Jeremy, he can even save a little bit of fuel. We have seen him do it before. The man does know how to clutch in the corners to save fuel. So, again, we're going to find out here and just a number of short laps. But on that, now that we've got green flag pit stops done and out of the way, your top 5 running order is Josh Benoit in that 46. You got the 04 in second, the 99 of Brooks Dirting in third, the 5 of George Oakes in fourth, and Tyler Davala in that 11 truck rounds out your top 5. With that, we are going to take a short break, but we will bring you non-stop video action of the race as we take a short break, and we will be right back with you folks. And welcome back, race fans, as we are still under green flag racing, getting ready to start working lap 110 of 140, just a half a lap away from that, so 30 laps left in this racing event. 46 truck is still leading the way. In second place is that 04. Brooks Dirting in the 99 holds down your third position, but is soon going to be under fire from the 11 of Tyler Davala, as Davala is trying to chase down that 99 truck, Jeremy.
Yeah, right before we came back, or you went to commercial break, we talked about Benoit being really far out there with a huge advantage and maybe the opportunity to clutch, do a couple things to maybe stretch it out to the end like these guys are set for. Going through the telemetry before we kicked it over to commercial, Josh Benoit had a 15-second advantage over Cody Porter in that 04. Coming back from commercial break, that lead is down to under 5 seconds. As Cody crossed the line this time, it looks like it's just a 4-second advantage, so 11 seconds earned since that short break. So either Benoit is clutching too much, or you're just seeing that huge speed advantage that Cody Porter has seemed to find later on in this run. I think it's probably on the clutching end with Benoit, but we have just under 30 laps to go, so we will see if whatever holds true. But Benoit, we've shown that he is fast with an older set of tires, so don't count him out just yet. Maybe he's just lagging back and saving every inch possible before he has to get up on that throttle. Yeah,
like I said, I mean, only time is going to tell exactly how that's going to play out. But I mean, if he is clutching, I mean, we know he's going to have to save fuel. How much fuel, we don't know, because again, that's all dependent on driver. How easy they are in the throttle, how easy they are on rolling out, rolling back in, utilizing everything that they have. It very well could be he needs to save that much fuel. He might be doing the calculations in his head as he's driving. or it could be that he is, clutching it too much like you had stated, which is something you don't want to do, especially with a lot of drivers behind him with fresher tires.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Benoit has only got 2.7 seconds now, so that gap is closing exponentially, and we'll see them, nose to tail here very momentarily. We see a couple trucks out there that are kind of mixed in. We see Bradley Brandon, if you remember turn 2, lap 1. Heavy inside contact with the wall. He's 53 laps down. He's not in contention, but he's kind of out there showing speed at his state of his trucks. I'm surprised he even made it out there with that wreck, but there's a couple trucks out there that are kind of mixed in with the leaders, and they're not in the way though. They're doing their own thing, turning the laps for their sponsors and whatnot. So, but yeah, we see Tyler Davala currently in 3rd place. He is gained over 10 seconds as well over Benoit, just like with almost everybody else. Brooks starting in 4th, Braden Carroll in 5th. Good showing for these guys, as that lead's now knocked down to 1.7 seconds. So real quickly, we might see a lead change.
Yeah, as we're actually on the deck cam right now of the 46 of Josh Benoit, we had seen a hell of a save from the 06 of Clayton White coming out of turn 4 there. He had that truck bad sideways, but was able to strong arm it and keep it going, and he did pull it down on the apron to let the leaders go by. So again, excellent bit of driving from the 06 of Clayton White there. And you can see that 04 truck is getting ever so much closer as it goes on. But anything can happen. It's one thing to catch a truck at these tracks, Jeremy, but you know as well as I do, it's a whole nother animal to pass a truck. Yeah,
we'll see him maybe throw the defensive line on the high side, because that's where he is pretty good compared to most other drivers here this evening. So they're in the same picture frame now, so we will see that probably within the next lap. Yeah, it's just Benoit. I think Benoit, if he does get past here, which it looks like he will be, I think he's going to have to pit right afterwards, because that strategy is officially done with, because he will not be in contention for that win, and he's going to need to get a fresh set of tires.
Yep. As you see, the 04 truck now putting the nose on the inside here. So racing side by side, this is your battle for first place between the 04 and the 46 of Benoit. Benoit stays on that high side. 04 does take over that top spot. So Benoit back to second. But as you said, Jeremy, that is going to really throw in the loop. What is the 46 truck going to do from this point on? You can only wait out there so long to see if a caution is going to come out that is going to throw you, throw that strategy out the door. But at some point in time, to try to secure the best finish possible, I mean, all these other trucks are done with pit stops. They can make it to the end. So the 46 is going to have a lot of thinking to do on this here, or maybe he knows something that we don't, Jeremy. I mean, who are we? We're just broadcasters. We just call the race and what we see.
I drive every once in a while, but yeah, these guys definitely make me throw away my playbook, as I've mentioned earlier. Benoit, not sure what he's trying to do, but he is running the mid or upper line at Texas, which is rare to run that kind of line around here after he had lost the race lead. So I think he's maybe just trying to ride it out and get the best spot possible. Maybe he just thinks, this is his best chances to not pit and just kind of clutch it and see what he can do to kind of scramble up maybe a top 5, because 5th place is still 12 and we're actually about 12 seconds behind him, with about 20 laps to at 20 laps to go this time by. So maybe he's still in a good position, Dustin, for a 3rd or even a 4th place finish. It looks like he's got top 5 secured as long as he has enough fuel.
Yeah, and like I said, we don't know how much he has saved either, so it's hard telling. We don't know. We didn't have the cameras live on the helmet cam or the gyro or the roll bar cockpit to, or even the roof or deck lid to be able to hear how much he was clutching to save fuel. So, I mean, there's a lot of variables there that we're going to be just as surprised as everybody else out there on exactly where that 46 truck does end up finishing today's race. But as we work through the field again, 04 is out in the lead, up 25 spots from his original starting position. 46 truck of Josh Benoit running second, right where he qualified. Tyler Davala in that 11 truck is in third. You got Brooks Dirting in the 99. He is running fourth. Fifth place is that 94 truck of Braden Carroll, up 13 spots to a top 5 right now. So excellent strong run by the 94 truck. That sixth place position is going to the 27 of Oscar Jensen right now. Again, up 10 spots from his original starting spot. So fantastic run for Jensen. George Oaks in that number 5 truck, up 5 spots, but in a solid run right now in 7th. About to come under a little bit of heat and pressure from the truck right behind him in 8th, which is that 88 of Joseph Kazi. So 88 all the way through. Kazi trying to come back again as he had fallen off during that late race. As it looked like the 5 got a little loose on that one there and had to drive down the truck. So right now it looks like the 5 is down on the apron. Don't know if the 5 is going to be coming to the attention down pit road or what is going on. It does look like he's going to be coming down the pits. So again, George Oaks going to give up that 7th position to come down to the attention of his crew right now. So that moves Kazi up to 7th. The 55 of Tyler Bentley is in 8th. Ron Holmes, as it sits right now, still running solidly in the top 10 in 10th place right now. He could be, depending on what goes on, might be able to move up to 9th, depending on how long that stop is for George Oaks. But again, solid run for Ron Holmes, who runs out your top 10 right now.
George Oaks is one of those guys who took a later pit entrance, so we know he's on, or he's going to be able to make it the rest of the way. So there must be something internally going on. It looked like his truck was underneath power, entering pit road. I just don't know what in particular is going on with him. Maybe he just felt like there's something wrong with the set of tires, or who knows. But he's already exited pit road. He's good to go. Resolved whatever issue he thinks he had, but that's kind of a bad break there because he was running in the top 10 for the most part this evening, or actually the whole event for that matter. So it's just a bad break there for him. Joseph Kazi, too, now resumes in 7th place. He's one of those trucks that went from 21st missed to start up to, I think he reached 3rd or 4th, and then we thought maybe he was going to be one of those trucks to beat, and then after that he just kind of fell back to the wayside a little bit. So this track trying to grip up a little bit more and things changing on the surface, and I think that's not working in his favor, so we see him kind of dwindled back a little bit. But impressive showing for Tyler Davala, who's currently in 3rd place as I kind of ran out through the field here. Josh Benoit is only 1.2 back from Cody, so I think he's finally stepped on the gas dust and to try to recoup what he's lost.
Yeah, and he really hadn't, like you had said, fallen back that far. I mean, we're at 13 to go, so I mean, at this point in time, I mean, he's in it to win it at this point. So it's either all or nothing from here on out. So it's going to be interesting to see if he can. Again, you know, that distance is not that much, but he is running an unconventional line, but he's running a line that has worked for him all race long to try to chase down that 04 truck.
Yeah, you rarely see any, especially the new configured Texas. You don't see hardly anyone ever run that high up on the surface, and somehow he's making it work. Identical lap times to the race leader that time by. So it's working. If he does make podiums finish tonight, I do want to ask him at least about that, because that's quite curious. He's running almost the Kyle Larson line at that point up on the top of turn 3 and 4. I don't know where that speed is going to be coming from, but somehow he's finding it. He makes a good run on Clayton White there, who is not in pole position at this time. But that did drop Benoit. Actually, Benoit gained hundredths of a second over Porter, so I don't know where that speed's coming from on the top there.
And I'm just as baffled as what you are, and at the same time quite curious to see how this is going to pan out, as we're going to come up to 10 laps to go once the leader in that 04 truck crosses the line. As it is right now 10 laps to go, I'm again going to be curious to see how this is going to play out, because obviously there's still some speed in that 46 truck. The question is how much speed does he have on those tires compared to that of the 04? And more importantly, how much of that go-go juice does he still have left in the tank?
I got my eyes peeled on the telemetry right now. He actually gained a 10th, Benoit did, on Porter that last lap. As they do exit turn number 4, he will get an updated lap distance here. Across the line now, it puts him at 1.0, Dustin. So he has gained 0.2 that lap, so he is finally making his move back for the race lead.
Yeah, and again, he is running those lines. We're on the roof cam right now, just seeing some of the lines that he is running compared to the race leader right now, the 04. Like you said, he's up there in that Larson line, and we've seen this work in real life, obviously, because Kyle Larson has made a namesake for that and had been very successful up there. But, I mean, running it on here to see, some of these drivers and see him actually working it, and you can tell right now on the live feed, Jeremy, from the roof cam, he is closing in on the 04 truck as we are at 8 laps to go left in the Tatas for Texas 140.
Clayton White trying to have a little fun here with your second place, Josh Benoit. I'm not sure if he just wants to get around him or if he doesn't realize that he's in second place trying to track down the race lead, but I think he actually might be helping him on the straighters with the draft setup, but then, entering the corners and exiting, it might hinder Benoit just a little bit as Benoit stays roughly 1 second behind Cody Porter that time by with 7 laps to go. He does clear Clayton there on the exit turn number 2, dips it a little bit lower in turn number 3 this time. Clayton still trying to make a pass for whatever reason at this point in time, but Benoit doesn't have any pressure from him this time by as we come across the line. We'll see what the telemetry looks like, and he lost 1/10 there, so he's got 6 laps and just over a second to make up.
Yeah, and as we're watching this, my thing is, Jeremy, you might be onto something. I don't know if the 06 is really trying to pass. I mean, we had seen him when he got loose coming out of turn 4. He come down pit road and got a fresh set of tires, come to the attention of his crew. So with Benoit being on older tires, the 06, as you do see the 06 going by, as a 46 is hitting pit lane, the fuel mileage just was not going to make it there. So your second place truck right now coming down pit road to the attention of his crew. So mark that as another strategy that just did not work out for Mr. Benoit, Jeremy.
So close, man. So close. 5 laps to go. Tried stretching that thing over 50 laps. Just could not do it. Just the window was just too stretched, even with his solid effort of clutching. That'll give Tyler Duvall second place. And Brooks Dirting will resume now in third. He's just underneath the second in front of now 4th place Braden Carroll. And that's going to put Oscar Jensen into now into the top 5.
Yeah, and that 94 of Braden Carroll really trying to chase down that 99 of Brooks Dirting as it sits right now. But that shakes up your top 10 quite a bit as you do see Josh Benoit back out on the track now. Looks like he is going to be marked in that 8th position. So tough break there with this thing going green flag all the way. The caution that could have possibly saved him never really came out. It was green flag racing the whole way as we're working 3 laps to go. But as you said, that 04 truck is looking to, as long as he stays clean, looking to take that top spot. 11 of Tyler Duvall solidly in second place right now. Brooks Dirting is in third, but is coming under fire from the 94 of Braden Carroll. So Braden Carroll having one of the best runs that he has had thus far this season. So looking to see how this is going to pan out with just 2 laps to go as the pressure's going on. As you said, Oscar Jensen, wicked loose out of turn 4, but is able to manhandle that, sitting solidly in the top 5. Tyler Bentley looking to take away a 6th place as we sit right now, as long as Kazi in that 88 does not chase him down, who is sitting in 7th. And that takes us back to Benoit, who is 8th. George Oakes having a solid run in the 9th position, and Ron Holmes looking to bring a top 10 back as long as everything goes the way it is appearing like it is going to happen. So we are on our white flag lap. Everybody spaced out. Leader coming off turn 2 as it sits. Jeremy, as long as nothing happens here and these drivers keep it straight, this is exactly how it looks like it's going to finish. Looks like it's going to be that 04 taking your checkered flag. So first time winner this season. Checkered flag flies. 04 truck does take it. Tyler Davala looks like he's going to take second, just as it looked like it was. That's going to leave the race for third. Has swapped out as the 94. Braden Carroll will take third away from Brooks Durning in the final laps here. Oscar Jensen, loose off of turn 4, is able to bring that car home, or that truck home rather, in 5th. You do have Tyler Bentley bringing his truck home 6th. Joseph Kazi 7th. Josh Benoit does bring it home 8th after just coming up shy on that go-go juice. Not enough fuel in the tank on that strategy. George Oakes with one of his best finishes this season at 9th. And Ron Holmes will round out officially your top 10.
Yeah, I was watching Braden there in that battle for third place, and lap and a half left to exit of turn number 2. Wicked loose, saved it. Quite a bit of wiggles out of his truck, and it allowed Braden to just swoop by him on the outside and said, "This is my podium finish now," and he took it. Braden, really strong run, impressed with him tonight. Tyler Davala as well, one of those trucks that he's been creeping in there, but now he's finally got himself his first podium finish of season number 2 and race number 8 at the Tatas for Texas 140. I see them right now. The top 3 are taking their photos at the start-finish line, as they always do, for the webpage and for the Facebooks and whatnot. So, and now the trifecta of burnouts happening here. They're all excited. You got 1 Ford, 2 Chevys out there just doing their thing. These guys are excited for it, man. It's always good to see a first-time winner. That puts us the 6th first-time winner of the season out of 8 races. So, I mean, that's always good to see, right?
It is. It's always good to see those first-time winners. And like I said, I mean, a strong showing for the 11 as well. First race here, nabbed the pole, and was able to get that second-place finish. And what about Braden Carroll? I mean, what a stout run, and that's exactly what that team needed moving forward. Is, like I said, we're down to 4 races left in the regular season. And wins don't account to anything, ladies and gentlemen. That's not how it works. It goes just based straight off points. Wins do not lock you into the race-offs here at the Fired Up Esports League, so it goes based off points. That's exactly what that 94 team needed to try to solidify. But, I mean, we had a lot of good runs, too. Oscar Jensen at 27, solid top 5, which is fantastic. Tyler Bentley with a solid 6th-place finish. That team needed that as well. George Oakes with the 9th. And what about Ron Holmes coming home in a 10th? Solid top 10. That's what that team needed as well. So fantastic job, to a lot of those drivers. And as we're talking about it, before we even break to interview, Jeremy, how about you take us through our finishing order here so we can see where the rest of these drivers did end up faring out for the rest of this race.
Cody Porter, first-time winner of this season, season number 2, race number 8. Congratulations to him. Tyler Davala, second place. Braden Carroll, first podium finish for him as well in 3rd. Brooks Durning just comes just a lap and a half short of hitting the podium. He will finish in 4th. Oscar Jensen's going to round out your top 5. 6th place, Tyler Bentley. 7th will be Joseph Kazi. And then Josh Benoit, that late race pit almost made the strategy work. He's going to be your first truck 1 lap down in 8th place. George Oakes in 9th. Holmesy in 10th. Clayton White 11th. Jeff Converse in 12th. Nathan Boger in 13th. Scott Martin 14th. Bradley Brandon 15th. Bryson Dirting in 16th. Jeremy Coors had a really fast truck, just got involved in an incident a little too early, got in 17th. Bradley Walters, yeah, that was one of your trucks to beat. He finished 18th with an engine going out on him. Shane Posey in 19th. Tim Henderson 20th. Andrew Schroeder and everybody else behind him did not. Well, actually, no, they did. So Andrew Schroeder 21st. Jason Miz 22nd. Richard Malagani in 23rd. Jeremy Boucher in 24th. Anthony Crownover 25th. And Timothy Swiggett puts you at 26th, which is the field record for, at least in the truck series, to my knowledge. That's a huge field. Glad to see the turnout tonight.
Yeah, it was an excellent race all the way around. I mean, it's what you would expect from Texas. I mean, it could go one of two ways. It could go real bad, caution filled, just a lot of issues, or it can go pretty much how the latter half of this race went, which was long green flag runs and a lot of strategy in there. Trucks spaced out the way that they were. I mean, it's you just don't know what type of Texas you are going to get when you do get Texas. So
yeah, the reconfiguration is it's better for worse. You definitely don't know what you're going to get, especially with a track that it's only been around for a couple of years in this state. So we kind of have a feel for it up to this point, but this is my first time really just sitting down and pay attention to this track as a broadcast perspective. So minus Benoit just making me throw in my playbook. Everybody else kind of hugged the bottom for the most part, which I did expect. But I wish I could talk to Benoit. I wish he would have made it up there, but nonetheless, we'll talk to him eventually. Maybe I'll kind of rewind and go back to that. But just he found something there that nobody else had, and that setup was just digging up top. And that's Texas though. High speeds, a lot of full throttle racing action. We see some drafting play out. Overall, though, it was a pretty solid race. Other than the few cautions early on, once they got going, green flag, it was just it was good, solid racing from there on.
Yeah, and it really was. And with that being said, I definitely think it's due time that we bring in some of our podium finishers here. I do believe the first one is going to be that number 94 driver, the number 94, Braden Carroll, having his best finish this season at the Fired Up Esports League, bringing his truck home in third position.
Yeah, we're going to have to do that. If you could do that for me, I apologize. Unable to move him, at least on my perspective here.
All right, give me a second. See if we can't get him moved. All right. All right. Braden, this is Dustin and Jeremy up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir, I do.
All right. Excellent. I tell you what, that was a fantastic race that you ended up having there. That, I mean, we had called your name more than what we had in the past. And to see you end up finishing the way that you did, I know it was a close one there. With a good battle with the 99 of Brooks Dirting there at the tail end. Just happy to see that truck and see you up there. But with that, I mean, it's the first time we've been to Texas. Kind of tell us a little bit about what you experienced out there with this reconfigured Texas track.
Oh, it was a really good race. I started in the back, and as you saw, they wrecked on lap 1. I was just really hoping to not get run over there. And trying to avoid and keep the truck clean throughout the race, saving tires, all that stuff. It was a very good race. Everybody was very clean. That was the best part about it, is the race in itself.
Yeah, and you said that you had started near the back. You have gained 15 positions throughout that race to bring that truck home in third place. So hell of a job by you and your crew for doing that. Tell us about that last couple laps, battling it and trying to chase down Brooks Dirting. We had seen you really trying to chase it down there and seen that you were able to complete that just before the checkered flag flew. Kind of tell us, walk us through the last couple laps there, which solidified your podium.
It seemed that I think he pitted around 7 or 8 laps before we did, because we had come and topped off on fuel on the last caution. And so we knew we could go a little bit farther, and he pitted earlier than we did. So I knew that the pit lap, when I would come out, I'd have a little bit fresher tires toward the end, but I think he had 5 seconds. I was honestly really surprised of how much I could gain. I didn't really think there'd be that much of a difference, but towards the end of the race, in those last few laps, I think he scrubbed the wall a little bit off too, and that really kind of set me in hey, I actually might be able to get this. And as soon as I got within that draft, I really would gain around 0.2 a lap in 3 and 4 just because of that draft and not being as loose. It kind of stabled me out in the center corner of 3 and 4, and then I was able to go around the outside in 1 and 2. He when I got around his outside, he got really, really loose on exit, and I just kind of locked it up.
Yeah, I talked about the draft playing some factors several times, and it looked like I was definitely on your side tonight. Congratulations on your podium finish, man. That must feel good. Like, going into the race, what was your expectations? Where do you think the truck was as far as, quality versus the other guys? Just the overall thoughts on, the strategy going in.
Oh, going into the race, I was really just trying to have some fun. No expectations whatsoever. I did about 10 laps of practice on the Q set. That was it. So I really hopped in with a blind eye, I guess you could say. And then I messed up my Q lap there. It was like a 30.6, so that's what put me in the back. I got super loose in the entry one. So I had no expectations whatsoever heading into lap 1.
Okay, yeah, it was a very consistent truck on your part. You had a couple things go your way late in the run, like the pit strategy for Josh Benoit and then Brooks scraping the wall that I had actually missed. I didn't know that happened, but I did see him get really loose in the turn 2, which allowed you to sweep by on the high side to get your first podium of the season. Whenever... Did you have a strategy? Because I know, whenever fuel mileage is a thing to where people can short pit at quite a large distance, like Josh Benoit was kind of setting himself up for. Did you have an expectation of just running it till it was dry, or did you maybe have something in your mind that was like, maybe I should do 10 laps earlier or 5 laps or something around there?
So it was me, Cody, Oscar, and Tyler. We are all with each other on the same team, SRD Setups. So we had been talking fuel the entire race, and it ended up going to our favor. We were doing some math during the race, and we figured out that if we ran till at least 95, we could scrape by to the end. I think I only had 3 or 4 laps left in the tank right at the end. I put it on lap 98. It was good. It obviously worked out in our favor, of course. That was the best part.
Oh yeah, absolutely, sure did. Gave you that top 3, so congratulations once again on that. But I'm going to let you have the floor, as Dustin would always say. So who do you have out there to thank? Who you want to give a shout out to out there tonight?
I really want to thank the team itself, SRD Setups. We are all running that setup, which is available on srdsetups.com right now. Very good, very long run, consistent. I want to thank Bradley for helping me out, spotting me, crew chiefing through the race after things didn't go his way on lap 1. And the team itself just for helping me out, learning a lot through these races.
And we appreciate that as well. And I know that everybody that you shouted out to appreciates that. I tell you what, it was excellent to see you up in the podium and put on a show that you did. As expected, we had talked about it in pre-race. Fuel obviously played a part in that, and your guys' math calculations are obviously a lot better than what mine or Jeremy's could be. I run out of fingers and toes a lot of times, so but it played in your guys' favor. You guys did an excellent job bringing that truck home in third for a podium. So again, congratulations to you, and we look forward to seeing exactly what you can do and what you're bringing to the show next week as we hit Martinsville.
Ooh, thank you. Martinsville should be a tough one. I'll definitely actually have to do some practice for that one.
A little bit more than 10 laps.
100%.
Yeah, I did a league race in the Cup car there last year, last season, May, whatever. And it was interesting to say the least. So I've going to enter in this Martinsville week with, again, some low expectations. It always seems to work out. Just going to try to keep the car clean at Martinsville, not make friends, not enemies, that sort of thing.
Well, I mean, that mindset paid off for you and in big ways tonight here at Texas. So again, it may pay off at Martinsville as well. But like I said, either way, congratulations on your third place finish. And we'll look to see you and your team out on the track next week.
Oh, thank you very much, man. It was a pleasure to race, and I'm glad you guys could enjoy it.
Absolutely. That is your your third place driver, the driver that number 94, Braden Carroll. So, I mean, a super nice guy, talking there. We're going to try to get our second place finisher right now. being the number 11 of Tyler Davala as our second place finisher. So first time we've seen Tyler out on the track, and captures the pole and up there battling for the lead and brings that truck home in second position. Tyler, tell us a little bit about the race out there today. I mean, it looked like there was a lot of trucks that were struggling with the looseness of their trucks. Seems like that wall kind of gathered a lot of drivers as well. What was your perspective out there tonight?
Yeah, our truck was really fast from the SOD setups. It was really quick, and the track was really slick all night. It was really hot, so you had to keep up with the adjustments a lot. We were loose about middle of the race there and lost some time to the leaders. We tightened up on the last pit stop, and I got better, but I feel like the race was lost. On that second pit stop, we didn't make enough adjustments there to tighten it up for the longer run. So still happy with second place though. It's a really good run and higher expectations than what I thought. I came in just hoping for like a top 10.
Oh, well, you achieved that and much more. Now, you talk about a loose race truck. I got to tell you, being up here in the booth, Jeremy and I commented on that a lot of times. A lot of the angles that we've seen, I tell you what, man, you can pilot a truck because that thing was yawing out real bad on some of those corners. But, man, you made it look so smooth. I mean, smooth as silk when you would come off there, even though we could see that it was loose. I mean, is that typically more your comfort zone, driving more of a looser race car as opposed to a tighter one? Because, I mean, the way you were wheeling it, it did not look like it was affecting you all that much.
Yeah, I would definitely prefer a looser car over a tighter car because when the car is looser, I'd say you almost have a little more freedom of what you can do with throttle control and such. But there is like a fine line there. Like if you cross the line of too loose, you're like wrecking loose and it's just too hard to drive. So if you can hit it just right, you're going to be quick.
Yeah, I would agree there. I'm one of those guys who really prefer a looser setup because you do have those options. And especially at Texas, right, where that fine line is super fine because the trucks are already loose there to begin with because they're so light and they're going so fast around the sweeping corner. So, yeah, man, if you want just like, I always like asking drivers about their strategies going into the event. I know this is your first podium, so we haven't got the chance to talk to you within the season number 2, 8 races in now. So what was your kind of strategy going into tonight's event?
We obviously got the pole, which was great. That obviously helped out at the start. And my strategy at the start was hopefully get to the lead. Clean air was huge tonight as of saving tires. Get to the lead and just try and conserve my stuff. And we got some yellows there. And we held the lead for a while. And we were able to save our tires there. And save them till about lap 30. And then I got back in traffic. And that's when it started to get loose. And it got loosened up. And that burned my tires off. Lost a lot of time there. And then we made some adjustments after that. And that tightened me up, but I was just a little bit too far behind there, and no more yellows didn't really help us, but I feel like second was all we had tonight. I didn't think we could win the race with that, but it would have been nice.
Yeah, I was keeping a record of the track temps. The track got up to 122 degrees, and when you just mentioned about saving tires, the way you were driving the right rear off that thing, I didn't think saving tires would be a thing, but apparently you have that line to do it. But nonetheless, it did give you a solid second place finish, so congratulations once again. I'm going to kick it off to you now, or hand it over rather. Give us shout outs. Who do you want to thank? Anyone out there that's watching, who do you want to say hi to?
Yeah, I just want to give a huge shout out to all my teammates over SRTsetups.com. Cody, Oscar, Braden, Bradley, Jeremy, everyone that ran with us tonight. All the other guys in this league and the people that put it on. It's a good, fun league to run on Thursdays when I can. And big thanks to you guys for putting on this great broadcast.
And we appreciate that. We appreciate you showing up and helping them put on a great show. Like I said, I mean, it's always good. It's what we do is only complemented by the amazing show that all you drivers put on. And it's always good to see drivers come in here. This is your first start and come in and get a podium like that, and get a podium with your team like that. I mean, that's a team sweep on the podium. So excellent job all the way around on a second place. And from myself with Nerd2's Nerd TV and Jeremy, we look forward to seeing more of you out there on the track, seeing what you can't do. And I do believe we're going from that 1.5 tonight at Texas down to the paperclip at Martinsville come next week. So it should be an interesting race.
It's there in Martinsville, one of my favorite racetracks. So hopefully we're able to put it in victory lane.
All right, and we'll be there calling the shots, seeing if we can't interview you again next week. So again, congratulations on your second place. We're going to let you go and celebrate with the rest of your team like you guys already did out there burning them down. So again, congratulations, and we'll see you next week.
Yep, thanks, guys.
Welcome.
So that was your second place finisher, Tyler Duvall on that 11. Again, Jeremy coming in thinking that I'm just going to go for a top 10, and it got a whole lot more than a top 10. Took that pole and ended up pulling up the a podium finish on top of that. So fantastic job all the way around. This point in time, unfortunately, our race winner in that 04 truck is unavailable for an interview. Which is unfortunate enough, especially seeing as drove a very good race, got that race win, got that team sweep on the podium, but sometimes that's just the way that it works. Can't always have everything available. All in all, Jeremy, though, break it down for me. What was your overall feeling for this track? I know that it's kind of hit or miss sometimes on this reconfiguration, but overall tonight with the fuel drivers and the racing action they put on, what's your takeaway from it?
I learned that there's a midline somewhere on the track that Josh Benoit had shown us. Other than that, the track drove basically the way I thought it was going to. We saw a lot of people get super loose early on, and people had to back it up and just take it easy. And for the most part, like I said, it played the way I thought it was going to. There's definitely some lulls at Texas. But toward the end there, we saw some drivers make some big moves. Braden able to get there in the top 3 on the last lap and a half pass. So overall, pretty decent for Texas. Didn't let down one bit at all for me. So, it was just a good race overall, Dustin.
And it was, and I'm like you, I did not know there was a mid to high line like that, but Benoit definitely led the charge on that one there. And a couple other drivers were definitely flirting with that as well. I also noticed that a lot of these drivers, I tell you what, they can wheel these trucks. A lot of loose trucks out there, but a lot of fantastic saves that could have been a whole lot worse than what it was. Some of them we were able to catch on live feed, other ones we missed. But trust me, ladies and gentlemen, they were out there. So they did an excellent job all night long with that. So with that being said, though, it's at that point in time, Jeremy, where we need to thank those that have helped us get to where we are at. With that being said, going to thank first and foremost Martin Sports. Again, martinsportsapparel.com. They got a fantastic lineup of sports apparel. Both your typical tees, winter wear, hoodies type deal. But they also do fantastic sim gear that they do have as well. I'm talking sim racing gloves, sim racing shorts. Yes, I do mean sim racing shorts. They allow the boys to breathe without riding up into your no-no region. I do know that the owner's wife is going to get a chuckle out of that one there, just as I'm sure Scott Martin is as well. But that's right off of their Twitter announcement for their sim racing shorts. But they do gloves as well. They put out a fantastic product, probably some of the most high quality products that you can find out there, not just for sim racing, but just for apparel alone. Again, check out what they have. They put a lot of time and effort and resources into R&D to make sure they bring you guys the best product out there. And easily some of the best ownership and management that you could probably find in I'm going to do this for Scott, quote unquote, mom and pops style company there, even though they are not a mom and pop, so to speak. But either way, fantastic all the way around. Check out what they have, see what they have to offer. Take a look at some of those sim racing gloves. They are praised across the sim racing world, in iRacing as well. So go take a look and see exactly what all the buzz is about. That's martinsportsapparel.com. I also want to thank Sticker Cabana. That's the title sponsor for the Sticker Cabana Truck Series. They make excellent die-cut stickers. I cannot go over their lineup of stickers because they have a ridiculous amount of stickers that they offer, thousands, as far as custom designs and everything else. You name it, you could probably find it with Sticker Cabana. So be sure you check them out. We want to thank them for coming on board this season as a title sponsor. You see their stickers lined up all over the broadcast as well. So again, thanks for them for coming on board. Check them out on Facebook. Take a look at their ever-growing stock and inventory of stickers that they have, and go get you something to stick it on. So again, that's Sticker Cabana. I want to thank Nature Med as well. Nature Med, again, educate to medicate. We are firm supporters in medicinal marijuana and recreational for that matter, for whatever reasons. The big benefit to impede on their everyday life being anxiety, depression, PTSD, Tourette's, things of that nature. So I do know that it is a real thing, and I do know that it helps. Trust me, we have educated to medicate, and it does help out my family, just as I know that it helps out millions of other families out there. And not only that, but our servicemen and women out there that have served this country, that they don't come back without some type of scars. And sometimes you can't see those scars, folks. So with that being said, this is one of the best ways to allow them to be able to try to center themselves a little bit and try to get past some of the horrors of that they have seen serving this country. So from all of us here at Nerditudes to all of the servicemen and women out there that do suffer from that, again, educate to medicate. Hats off to all of you. Thank you guys for what you do and what you have done. Very much appreciated. And again, check them out. They are the one of the leading dispensaries in the Tucson area. So again, we want to thank them for coming on board as well. And we appreciate everything that Nature Med does, not only for Nerditudes and fuel more than anything else, but what they do for the community and for the people that need it the most. So again, thank you very much. That's Nature Med. Want to give a thanks to Butt Kicker, again, the official sound provider, for some of the effects that we do have here. We didn't get a chance to do it tonight. Probably would have been a good time, Jeremy, seeing as we had that long green flag run. But you know as well as I do, if we would have busted out the sounds of Nerd, the Nerd Enhanced Racing Decibels, that there probably would have been a caution flag in that long green flag run we had, because that's the go rate that we've been having. But Butt Kicker does an excellent job with a Sim Racing Edition. The rig is excellent. It does add a new level of feel to your racing rig at the fraction of the cost. So be sure you go take a look at what they have. They do an excellent job. High quality, high grade products. So again, visit thebuttkicker.com/?AFF equals 33. Be sure you use promo code Fired Up for 20% off. I do believe those units are on sale for $199.99 right now. With the 20% off, you can get a Butt Kicker Gamer 2 for $159.99. So be sure you check them out again. And again, we'd like to thank everybody that has joined in to watch, everybody that has commented on that. It does appear like possibly the YouTube has had an issue. I do know that we've been having issues with YouTube over the last couple days with the broadcast. But again, we want to thank everybody that has joined in, everybody that's followed, that has liked, that has shared videos, that has subscribed to everything that we have here to try to keep bringing you guys great things. Again, thank you guys very much. We couldn't do it without you, and we do it for you. So we try to stay up on top of everything, try to make it as fun as possible. So again, thank you. Keep it up. Keep talking. As you can tell, we like bringing you guys into the conversation as well, because we're here for you, just like these drivers are out there putting on a damn good show for you as well. So thank you again, and keep doing that. But on that note, Jeremy, for everybody here at Nerditudes and Nerd TV, from all the drivers from the Fired Up Esports League, we would like to thank you again for joining us for tonight's racing action. We will catch you come next week. So some of the racing that we do have coming up, we do have Over the Limit is at USA Speedway. That's October 27th. The following day, we will have the Fired Up Esports League at Martinsville at the Paperclip on October 28th. So be sure that you take a look at that. Be sure you tune in when you can. We do appreciate you guys showing up, and we look forward to bringing you racing action again next week. So from everybody here, To everybody out there, thank you guys. Stay safe. We'll catch you at the next track.